Okay, so today we're going to talk about a revision strategy that you can use on your paper and that you can use on many papers in the future. But first I want to talk a little bit about what revision is. Revision is any time we change the content of our draft. So you don't want to just write one draft and then turn it in as is. You want to change it, make it better, make sure it's the best it can possibly be. And revision is what we do to improve our draft, and there are many strategies that can help us revise our essay. So we're going to talk about one. It is called fat drafting. And what is fat drafting? Well, sometimes the problem with our drafts is we do not have enough information. Fat drafting is a writing strategy that helps us expand our writing in meaningful ways. So if you are one of my kids that writes way too much to begin with, please exit this video and do a different revision strategy, because this is not going to help you. So here are some ways to fat draft. You're going to pick at least one of these. The first one is you can write new sentences. So you're going to pick your weakest paragraph, and then between each sentence in that paragraph, you are going to write a new sentence. Try to focus on introducing new ideas and themes. Once you have finished writing all your new sentences, you're going to look through the paragraph and revise it. Now, one important thing about fat drafting is that you're not going to necessarily keep everything that you write. Actually, you probably shouldn't keep everything that you write. You may find that some of those new sentences do not work, and maybe none of them work. But the hope is that they will give you some new ideas and themes that you can then introduce or change in your text. Okay? And that will be the same with all of the different strategies for fat drafting. Another way you can fat draft is expand your draft in one or two places. So first, identify one or two places in your draft that are lacking information. Step 2, write several, at least 5 extra sentences in those areas. Don't worry if it ends up going off topic. And then step 3, reread and revise as needed. Again, you may not use any of that information exactly, or you may not use any of those sentences exactly, but hopefully it will give you new information. It'll help you look at your draft a different way and make it better. And then if you do not want to expand in an area, you can also free write. So there are 2 ways to do that. 1, you can collect 3 images or videos that relate to your topic. Then on a separate piece of paper, you're going to free write about those images or topics. So if you are doing a celebrity and that celebrity is at an event, you might talk about their fashion and their outfit, and that might lead you to be like, man, I should talk a little bit more about how their fashion has made them an icon or something, right? So write, so you're going to free write, and then you're going to use some of the new ideas from your free write and add it to your draft. Again, trying to expand upon your draft. And then finally, you can also choose to circle 3 quotes or sentences that you feel are particularly important, or write them down on another piece of paper and free write under them. Just write anything that comes to mind, 3 to 5 sentences. Try to write new ideas about them, and then look through your free writes and add new things to your draft. Okay, I'm going to demonstrate this process to you with my draft. I'm going to do this one. I'm going to expand my draft in 1 or 2 places. Well, let me show you my draft. My article is about the benefits of Sudoku for the brain. Now, my looking through my paragraphs, and I'm trying to decide where should I expand. Well, I really love this part of my research, okay, where it talks about improving the cognitive skills. And one thing I know from looking at my research was there was a lot of information in this area. It could be talked about a lot, and I just feel like maybe there's something that I missed, maybe there's something I could add to it. So I'm going to focus on this paragraph. Other things you might look for: do I have a really small paragraph that just doesn't have a lot of information? Do I have any paragraphs that seem to talk a lot about one aspect but not the other aspect? Should I expand on that? right? So I've picked my paragraph. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to free write. And I'm not going to worry about what I wrote in this paragraph. I am going to instead just, if I repeat some things, that's okay. I'm not going to worry about writing everything perfectly. I'm just going to try to get out my ideas. And actually, before I even do that, what I want to do, and I'm going to look through my sources about improving cognitive skills and see if there's anything that I missed that I could add. So I'm going to look through my sources. Maybe you need to look up new sources. So here are my sources, and we can pretend that I'm looking through them. Okay. And yeah. So I'm just going to start and we'll go for it. Sudoku. I cannot spell today. Is a great brain exercise. It helps improve memory. I'm thinking about this. Okay, how does it help improve memory? Well, it improves not only how fast you receive information, but it improves how much you remember. Maybe I should switch those. Okay, so I'm going to keep writing, and then I'm going to come back, and we can look at what I've come up with. Okay, so I finished my paragraph, and now let's talk about it a little bit. So first, one thing I want you to notice is I have all these parentheses in here. This is just to remind me that I need to have a source, or I need to put in my in-text citation, but I'm not going to worry about that right now because I may just change everything anyways, but just kind of as a reminder for me that this is not my own information, right? So I'm going to read it to you. One of the best exercises in Sudoku, one of the best brain exercises is Sudoku. Wow. One of the advantages is it improves your memory. It not only improves how much you remember, but how fast you can remember it. Because of this, Sudoku greatly reduces the risk of memory loss diseases such as Alzheimer's and dementia. In order to help you remember and process new information, your brain creates neural pathways that connect information together. For example, if someone handed me a fruit I had never seen before, my neural pathways would look at what I already know about fruit, which allows me to make assumptions like it is edible and it's nutritious. Sudoku stimulates the brain's neural pathways, helping them stay strong so that they can continue to make those crucial connections for us. Okay, so I added a lot of different information. The first kind of subset of information I added was I talked about memory and Alzheimer's. So I'm going to look up here. Do I talk about those things? So I do talk about memory right here. It's one of the things that the stimulation of the neural pathways does, okay? And then I also talk about Alzheimer's and disease down there. Now, one new idea that I didn't talk about up here was the fact that Alzheimer's disease, like why it helps with Alzheimer's disease, is because of the memory, because it helps improve your memory. So I kind of like that I made that connection, and so that's probably something I'm going to include in my draft. So just looking at that, that's one idea. Okay, I'm going to see if I can add that to my draft somehow. Another thing that I did was I explained a little bit more about the neural pathways and how that works. Now, looking up here, I don't do that up here. I just say research shows that Sudoku stimulates neural pathways. Now, knowing my audience and knowing my audience is you guys, a lot of you probably haven't heard a lot about neural pathways, or at least enough to maybe understand it. So I think that I like that I did that as well, and I think I want to add that also to my body paragraph. Maybe not as in depth because this was a lot of sentences, but I definitely think I should add that. So, I'm not going to show you my whole process of adding things, but I am going to show you the first part. So, looking at it, okay. So the game also helps reduce the risk of developing age-related conditions. Okay, so Sudoku's repetitive nature helps strengthen neural connections, allowing the brain to process information faster and more accurately, which I like that sentence after this sentence because it shows why it stimulates the neural pathways. So, maybe instead of saying the game also helps reduce the risk of develop age-related conditions. Also, most of you probably know what Alzheimer's and dementia is, but I kind of mentioned down here that it was a memory loss disease. It's developing age-related conditions. I'm going to change that to memory loss diseases, such as Alzheimer's disease and dementia. Okay, so now you know what those two are in case you didn't. Now let's say it helps reduce the risk. Maybe I can add something about by helping by strengthening neural pathways. Sudoku also reduces the risk of developing memory loss diseases such as Alzheimer's disease and dementia. And I'm going to choose. Okay, so I added some things. So I explained what Alzheimer's is. I connected this stuff to this, which I also wanted to do. And now I'm going to go in and I'm going to add a sentence or two explaining the way that neural pathways work. And that is how I'm going to expand my body paragraph using fat drafting. Now, when all is said and done, I'll probably only add 1 or 2 new sentences. I'm not going to add all of this stuff, right? But those 2 sentences are going to increase the quality of my body paragraph and add more information to make my paragraphs more clear and to help and to just make them better body paragraphs. So hopefully that is the result of your fat drafting as well. If you have any questions, of course, feel free to talk to me, and I'll see you soon.